The bond collapse is now here. For 3 years since I've had this YouTube channel, I've wanted to teach people how to be an elite thinker when it comes to investments, market cycles, and how you do that is you see things ahead of time based off of current events, and you don't wait for the price of an investment to adjust, and you do not wait for the news to come out through the mainstream media. I have said over and over again, in the last 20 years, we have seen two massive cycles. A stock buildup, actually, it would be 30 years, including the buildup, a massive stock market bubble based on a dot-com boom, a new type of technology that came out. Then we saw that bust. Then we saw a boom in real estate prices, home building, and then we saw that subsequent bust. And now this is the big one, a 100-year cycle that is a currency bubble, boom and bust. Now, there are banks all over the world that have unrealized losses in the bond market. Unrealized because they have yet sold them, yet these bonds that they purchased at much lower interest rates are worth much less compared to the bonds being issued today because those bonds have higher rates. Yet it hurts the bank's balance sheet because the face value of those bonds have changed. The underlying value of those bonds have changed, even though they haven't sold it. Let me give you an example for all of our experiences. If your largest position in investment is real estate, hashtag real estate. If it's stocks, hashtag stocks. If it's crypto, hashtag crypto. If it's precious metals, hashtag gold or silver. The reason why I say that is because think about in your personal life, if you have purchased a massive amount of any of those assets, right? Then they went down way below what you purchased them at. Well, your purchasing power has gone down, and sure, you haven't lost anything until you sold it, but it also messes with your confidence in going out after another investment. So you're more likely to hold back. Well, that's what's happening to the banks around the world. And a subscriber, his name's Matthew. I thank you so much. As I was driving over here, texted me a story that tells this exact same scenario. Yet I think there is one thing that the media is going to leave out. And when I say media, this is zero hedge. So this is like going to get to you way before it shows up in the mainstream like CNBC and Yahoo. And when I read this story, I want you to think about the fact that the United States has completely abandoned the idea of defending the petrodollar. Okay, so banks no longer need to hold our bonds, but there are banks in with serious issues all around the world. Okay, so as I read this story, be thinking about that. Be thinking this is probably the easiest thing for a bank to do, and whoever runs to the exit first gets to liquidate their US treasuries at a premium compared to what's going to happen as everyone around the world starts liquidating. It's going to cause a hyperinflation in our country, a small one, but it's going to be a hyperinflation nonetheless, and less. And I want you to understand this, nobody's understanding this. It blows me away that all these pros out there on Wall Street have no concept of this. And I'm actually going to go meet a handful of these pros in a week and a half. They don't know it yet. I'm going to surprise them. And we're going to chat about this stuff. And I'm going to try and get their reactions on camera. So here we go. This story is entitled "The Music Just Stopped. Japan Banking Giant Norchukin to Liquidate $63 billion in treasuries and European bonds to plug massive unrealized losses." All right. So let's make this very clear. The European economy is a complete basket case right now. They're a complete and utter basket case. And a few years ago, I said, based off of some prophecies that I read and heard, and inside knew that this was true, that Europe's economy is going to fall first and then America's. You don't have to believe it or not. I believe this will be the way it rolls. It says last October, when the wounds from the March 2023 bank failures, which surpassed the global financial crisis in total assets. Again, please understand how serious this is. okay? And which sparked the latest Fed intervention, setting the markets nadir over the past 16 months were still fresh. We made a non-consensus prediction. We said that since the Fed has once again backstopped the US financial system, the next bank failure will be in Japan. This prediction only got warmer 2 months later when inexplicably Japan's Norchuken Bank, best known as Japan's CLO whale, collateralized loan obligation. These are securities that are put together, salted with really good credit scores, and then sold. They're failing right now. That's another video. Says was quietly added to the list of counterparties for the Fed's standing repo facility, aka the Fed's foreign bank bailout slush fund. Does it make you type one if it makes you sick to your stomach that our Federal Reserve, which isn't federal and it has no reserves, is actually in the past has run swap lines with Europe to keep that stable and is bailing out banks in other countries? Just let me throw out there. I know it's a private bank, but if you think about it, the Federal Reserve is who forces, coerces, or talks into our government into borrowing money from them. So it's interesting. You have these private banks around the world trying to keep each other stable. And then when the whole thing comes down, sorry, my throat's dry. They go to the governments and they have the governments print a bunch of money that's owed back to them with interest, which is our taxpayer dollars, which is the effort and work, the hard work of us and our children's lives to pay back. It's absolutely disgusting. So it says here, Norchuken is Japan's fifth largest bank with 840 billion in assets. Today, the proverbial canary stepped on a neutron bomb inside Japanese coal mine because, according to the Nikkei, Norchuken Bank will sell more than 10 trillion yen, which is $63 billion of its holdings in US and European government bonds during the year ending March of 2025, as it aims to stem its losses from bets on low-yield foreign bonds, a main cause of its deteriorating balance sheet, and lower the risks associated with holding foreign government bonds. All right, so Japan has been a massive partner with the United States government in the fact that in many different ways, but one fact is that they have been a big buyer of bonds. When we have a lot of buyers for our treasuries, our bonds, interest rates stay low. When there are more sellers than buyers, interest rates skyrocket. Now, recently, we have seen the Treasury come in and become the buyer of last resort. So the Treasury is issuing bonds at these newer, higher rates, and they're buying bonds from US banks at lower rates to help strengthen their balance sheet. Okay, this is, what is it? Robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of situation. Now we have our number one partner in this scheme, this money printing scheme, now deciding to start selling their bonds. As a matter of fact, Japan's interesting because their largest investment fund for retirement, their largest retirement fund, is now looking into purchasing Bitcoin. Countries around the world, and why I say the bond collapse has now begun is because you are seeing the evidence of the Treasury backstopping the entire scheme, needing to buy to save banks. The evidence that countries like China, Russia, and now Japan are selling. They're becoming net sellers of our treasuries. Pretty soon, imagine now that Saudi Arabia has completely abandoned the dollar for trade. They have not renewed that agreement. So they are going to be able to accept any currency that they want as of what, a couple Sundays ago or Sunday in trade for oil. That means all these countries that have been holding currency, holding dollars, are going to go, why are we holding this crap? And so the only country that's going to take it primarily will be the United States. And that will cause a mini hyperinflation. There's a news story that just came out from the World Gold Council. I think Kitco covered it, saying that I believe it was 29% of central banks have said they are going to be buying gold, more gold this year. That means, well, we're already halfway done. So that's the truth. They are buying more gold. Why? Because as the US dollar implodes more countries sell bonds, it's going to keep upward pressure on our bond market. What's that going to do to mortgage rates? They're going to skyrocket. This has been my thesis for 2 years. And, you know, and I've said this from the beginning when I came out with my first course. I'm not here to sell a course. Look, you want to be buying real estate when interest rates are sky high. Anyone that bought on the downward slope of the Federal Reserve lowering cycle in 1981 crushed it. I was buying on the downward slide of the Fed's lowering cycle in 2001, and I crushed it. This is going to be the big kahuna. But this is almost a sit back and wait. This is a sit back and wait scenario. You need to wait for the mainstream media to finally go, well, it's too obvious. Ninja Nation is out there, have been crushing it for 2 years, buying gold, silver, Bitcoin, paying off debt. And we're talking a lot of people. Sound off if you're one of those people. Type Ninja Nation if you're one of those people that have been getting ready for this and you see it. Because, and this is what's exciting, there's not a ton of people that see it. You can warn your family and friends they're blue in the face, or you're blue in the face, and all they're going to do is laugh at you, call you a smurf. It's true. I deal with it too. My family and friends think I'm nutball. And you know how I know that? Because they might say, no, come on, you're not nutball. Well, are you doing what I'm saying? No, because that's crazy. So this is probably the easiest thing to be able to explain to people. And type 3, if this makes sense, what I'm saying. If what I'm saying makes sense, that when banks start liquidating our bonds, it's going to cause upward pressure on bond rates. Because anyone that needs to raise money, whether it be the federal government, municipalities, anybody trying to raise money to sell bonds, when there are more sellers than buyers, anyone out there going, I want to loan my money into the market, are going to go, you're crazy. I'm not going to loan money at these rates. I demand a higher rate. So there's only two paths of least resistance that two entities that are going to try and fix this. That is the federal government and the Federal Reserve. The federal government has already started buying these bonds. The Federal Reserve is panicking because they don't want the whole scheme out, that they are, no joke, the little man at the end of Wizard of Oz pulling strings behind a curtain running this big money printing scheme. But thank heavens to social media, it's been getting out more and more over the last 10 or 15 years. So this is one of those things where you just do all of your preps. And I still completely agree. You should buy some food, some emergency food, not go crazy, but why wouldn't you have 3 months, 6 months of canned goods on store? Because I do believe personally, and if I'm wrong, it's still going to work out for you. I believe there's going to be a small bout of hyperinflation in our currency. That means the dollar will fall way more rapidly. It'll actually probably fall in lockstep. That's a very important word. Think about this. Lockstep with other currencies that are falling to their own government policies and their prices. So you will see this bout of hyperinflation, a 20 to 25, possibly 30% inflation rate in our nation. And this shouldn't be a surprise because during COVID, we saw inflation, real inflation. Come on, it was in the teens. The government lied to you, but that's okay. They're getting caught lying about, oh yeah, those masks, we knew they didn't work. See, you should be used to lies. You should be able to identify a lie. But you know what's crazy these days? Most people can't identify the truth because they're so used to being lied to. Now, I will ask you one thing. If you could do me the biggest favor and sign up for the free newsletter, and this is why. Because every day, my buddy Dylan, he puts out all of the videos that go on the 3 channels that I've got. And it's just like every day you'll just get an email and go, hey, this is all the stuff. and a summary of what's going on in the media so you don't have to spend your time on it. But it's cool because there are people messing with the algos. And you know what? I just want to make sure because all the time I get people asking me questions like, why am I not getting notifications? Like, well, this is our solution. And we're doing some things on Zoom calls in these big groups to where we're doing questions and answers that I can't do because of the way that these questions roll through my cell phone. And then I have somebody to help moderate it and give me the questions. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing, actually. If anyone's been to any of these free AMAs that we do on Zoom now, it's been awesome. So if you sign up for that, then you get the links, and every month it seems like we're doing one or two of them. So I hope that you guys have a great day. Get loud, get proud. You are part of a group of people, no matter what your net worth is, that are going to absolutely crush it during this because luck favors the prepared, and Ninja Nation is a group of people that are prepared and they're not scared. Okay. It's going to get nutball going into the elections, but I'm ready. Uh, I hope you guys have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out.